I've been keeping tags on open source AI because we talked about this a lot a year ago, back when Meta's Llama project was doing quite well. And then Meta has pretty publicly stumbled with its Llama 4 release, and everyone kind of went back to thinking that we're going to see essentially closed source AI run the world as XAI, Anthropic, and OpenAI kind of battle it out. Well, turns out the answer is maybe not. And there's a company in China called Moonshot AI, and they have been referred to as an AI tiger by Chinese media, essentially putting them in the DeepSeek kind of collection of the Chinese AI industry. They're they're part of the Mag 7 of Chinese AI, if you will. And they dropped a couple of new models that are called the Kimi K2 models. And here's the thing that's killer. They're legitimately open source, weights and everything. And they're very, very good. And I just did not expect this to happen because this is a company that raised $1 billion last year and most recently raised another $300 million with Tencent participating at a $3 billion pre-money valuation. And they're dropping arse-kicking open source models. And here's some of the data, Jason, just showing off how they do. Now, keep in mind, this dropped, I believe, before anyone could get their hands on Grok 4. So there's no XAI comparisons here, but this is against DeepSeek, Quinn, which is Alibaba, OpenAI, and Anthropic. And as you can see, these models are competitive with kind of current state of the art, and they're now absolutely free. Now, I don't think American companies are going to adopt open source Chinese AI models or closed source Chinese AI models, just given tensions between the two nations. But from the rest of the world's perspective, this is an enormous gift. And I find it to be honestly pretty encouraging and optimistic that we're still seeing this level of improvement. And I just can't believe what a gift it is to have open source information out there of this magnitude, Jason. I'm blown away.
Well, this was what OpenAI was supposed to be doing before they closed it down and made it a for-profit company. Yeah. It was supposed to be, the original premise that they sold the world on with their nonprofit status was, we're going to make this free as a gift to humanity. It's too powerful for any one person to have. Therefore, if everybody has it, that's the way to go. Something changed along that way, and people changed their mind. And now we have this great paradox that China and that country is saying, you know what? We might be 6 months behind, 12 months behind, whatever the test might be, 3 months behind. Who cares? Having an open source option that's 6 months behind the state of the art or 12 months behind the state of the art, or maybe sometimes dips ahead of the state of the art. Yeah, it's got the great price. So we'll be sitting here in 4 or 5 years and it will feel very much like MySQL, right? There was a period of time where people said, like, I'll never use WordPress or MySQL. How would I ever use something open source in a corporate environment? And then the White House is running on WordPress, open source, or large companies, Uber, Airbnb are probably using MySQL or, some version of, those. So it's going to be really amazing to see. This might relate to the story we saw with Windsurf we were trying to figure out, like, why do they not care about the product and they care about the people? Maybe everything being built right now isn't as important as what's to come. And having those people iterating at a high velocity in your organization is more important. If you don't know exactly where this innovation ends, then what's been accomplished to now is going to feel like the web pages of the 90s. So you got to get the talent, have them locked in for 5, 10 years in your company, but 4 or 5 years is realistic. And if they're locked in for the next 5 years, you increase your chances at the $10 trillion prize.